Get your copy of The Church Girl by acclaimed author Stephanie Seaton. This compelling story follows a young woman's journey of redemption through faith and community after straying from the path of righteousness. Rediscover her purpose and meaning in life. Available now on popular online book sites. Don't miss out on The Church Girl, a transformative tale resonating with the power of faith and self-discovery.
Thank you for tuning in. A live stream new episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show will be starting soon. With your host, minister, and author Stephanie M. Seaton.
Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. I am so happy that you all have tuned in tonight. As usual, we have another amazing guest we're going to be talking to tonight. I've got Miss Aneta in the house tonight. Everybody, welcome Miss Aneta.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Yes, I am so happy to have you here tonight. You have become one of my biggest fans, and I tell you what, I appreciate the love you've been sharing and spreading the information, and I'm honored because, like we were saying, I know that we have been at one particular event not too long ago, and we met and we had a conversation, but we haven't even known each other that long. And when you find somebody that genuinely supports you, that's a big deal. And so I definitely wanted to have you here on the platform. I see you all over the place. I see all these businesses you've got going on. I'm like, I got to find out more about what she's got going on. I know that you have a podcast as well. And then you have some other things going on that we're going to talk about. And we have an upcoming big project that we talked about earlier today. So listen, let's dive in there. Now, Miss Aneta, I ask every guest the same first question, okay? And that first question is, we need to know who you are. So please tell us, who is Aneta?
I'm a businesswoman. I'm a mother. I do a lot of community things. I'm also an Autism Speaks ambassador. I do a lot of work with children who have special needs, and also I'm a mother of children who have special needs as well. And so, I just spend my life really trying to be a helper of people through different things that they go through, and just really trying to brand myself as a successful businesswoman.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so you're 38 years old, mother, entrepreneur, working full time. you've got a lot on your plate, and still you hold several different degrees and certificates. How was that? What did that look like? And you just said you have children with special needs, so you've got a full plate, Miss Aneta. How did you do all this?
So most of my degrees, and a lot of people are still like really astonished to learn this. A lot of my
Yeah.
college degrees I earned while my children were babies. I was
Okay.
at home. I had newborns. I was still going to school to, pursue my education. And
Right.
then, they were really my driving force. My children were, for me
Yeah.
to just go ahead and keep completing things and just showing them that you can accomplish things if you really put your mind to it.
Right.
And so to sit here today and have the degrees and certifications I do have, I found that it has been very helpful in life. But I would say the thing about me is that even though I have all these degrees, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so the
Yeah.
things I had degrees in, I didn't actually end up going to work in because I love business so much. But I
Yeah.
do have a business degree, and so that was one of the things that did help me along the way.
But you know what? Even though you might not necessarily got degrees in those particular things, that business degree is going to take you far. And you have that extra knowledge, and it's probably pushed you even more in the different businesses that you have. So I think that's commendable that, you did this for yourself. You knew that you wanted to elevate your life and the life that you were preparing for your kids. So I salute you for that. I think that is amazing. A lot of women have one child and they can't quite juggle things, and but I say thank you, thank you, thank you for all the things that you're doing in the community as well. I know you're doing a lot of things in the community and giving back. Um, so tell me a little bit about your family. What was your life like growing up? Tell me a little bit about your family or your childhood.
Growing up, I came from a two-parent home. I was raised in the suburbs of Wisconsin. My parents, they both had a lot of college degrees. They both went on to become doctors in their college,
Okay.
they chose to do. And then they also had their own businesses. So I learned about business growing up, and even with my grandparents having their own businesses with real estate. It just really pushed me to want to be an entrepreneur. Just hear how my parents would speak to us growing up and telling us how important it was to have knowledge, to have businesses, and how we could build generational wealth. So I had learned about
Yeah.
that early. So that's what made me become, the entrepreneur kind of person I am today.
And we talked about that a little bit earlier, you and I, multiple streams of income. That is so important. That is, really at this point, if you're an entrepreneur, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're creating multiple streams of income so that if, you just don't know what's going to happen in the future, and we have to really secure not only for ourselves, but also for our children and our children's children. So like you said, we're at this point thinking generational wealth.
Yes.
What are some tips that you would give, say, a young person that is thinking about stepping out on faith like you did, getting some college degree, starting the businesses? What would be a couple of tips that you would give them just to kind of get them going in the right direction?
Some tips I would give them was what I would definitely say: make sure you have a vision, make sure you have goals, make sure you know where you're trying to go.
Okay.
Always write out a plan. Even if it doesn't work, at least you have some idea of where you're trying to go. So like every 6 months, I may come up with a business plan that I'm like, okay, well, by this date, I want to make this amount of money in this business, and I want to
Yeah.
go out, have networked with this amount of people. You really, when you're in business, you have to kind of know where you're going instead of just kind of jumping all over the place. And when it comes
Right.
to education, I would tell people knowledge is definitely power, because I've been all
Yeah.
over the, and if I had not had the knowledge I do in business, it would not be able to afford me to want to have so much comfortability to walk into rooms with millionaires and have conversations with them and hear them understand, I do know what I'm talking about. And they're like, okay, I love to do business with you because you have learned a lot, and I can tell that you know what you're talking about. So that's been a great thing.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. What made you decide that? Well, I kind of heard you answer this already, you grew up in a family where your parents were both doctors, and so business was kind of like the MO for the family. But what made you personally decide to choose to be a business owner for yourself? What made it personal?
Because I found that I had so many passions that I was actually good at. And a lot
Okay.
of my and my family were like, wow, you got all these amazing talents. You should really turn this into something. And, when you got supporters and you have people who are really rooting for you and they can see that, there's something good inside of you that really can turn into something big. I think just having amazing love and support from my friends and family over the years, it really was like, you know what? I got this. I think I got something here. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's really important, having a support system.
yes.
Yes. So I kind of did a little bit of investigating and kind of pulling some information. I like to do with all of my guests, and I kind of checked out Life with Aneta, the podcast. So you have a national podcast on Spotify. Yes, ma'am. Tell us about that. What is that like, having a national podcast?
I think having a national podcast, at first I didn't really, I was like, okay, I was like, am I sure I want to go national with it? But the more I was just like, at one point I was just on Spotify and people are like, you
Okay.
have great content. We love to hear what you're talking about. You should go bigger. And so I decided to put my podcast on several other platforms. And for
Okay.
me, like, I'm a people person. I love to help people, give advice. And my podcast is basically bringing you into my life, also giving you tips and advice that a lot of people, they don't always want to go and ask for help, so they may
Right.
listen to my podcast and say, well, your story helped me and the way that you dealt with that is helping me
Yeah.
to deal. You never know how your story is helping somebody.
Okay. Okay. So, how do you choose your guests for your podcast?
I will go off the people I've met, whether it's business people or people I've met in everyday life. And if they have
Okay.
like an interesting story or they just reach out to me and say, hey, I want to be, on your podcast, I'll kind of get to know them, talk with them and say, hey, well, I love for you to be a guest on my podcast. And then I'll kind of go from
Right.
there.
Okay. Okay. So you said you were from Wisconsin. How
Yes.
did you get to Texas? Please tell me, how did Miss Wisconsin get all the way to Texas and decide to set up camp? How did that happen?
So a lot of my friends I grew up with, they were like, if you ever go to Texas, because you're so business minded and you're such a great energy and a people person, you be very successful. And I'm not ever going to Texas. I'm never going to move to
Right.
Texas.
Yeah.
Years later, and now I'm in Texas and I'm a business owner and I'm able to meet great people here. And I
Yeah.
really believe they were right because it was like instant when I got here and people could
Yeah.
feel my energy and I was able to promote myself. People were like, wow, like, you don't meet people like you every day. So it's been amazing to be in Texas to, have business and attend events and meet new people. It's been
Yeah.
really amazing.
That so I have to ask you this, because people that are not from Texas, when they come to Texas, they have this idea that we're this little horse town. So please tell me you did not visualize Texas as us just riding around in boots with horses and cows everywhere. Please tell me you weren't one of those people.
No, I was like, all I know in Texas and you can be successful. And that's what I was like,
Okay.
that's what I'm looking forward to when I get there.
Very good. Very good. So tell me about your faith. How important was faith when you were growing up? What does it look like for you now?
Growing up in my household, faith was a big thing. So I was in church growing up. And then now, because of the way I was raised, I have a very strong faith. So, like when things are going on, my first thought is pray. Everywhere I
Yeah.
live, I create a prayer closet. And a lot of people don't know, how to create that. But a prayer closet is like something very essential when you are big on your faith. And I feel like those work miracles because I've had several. But I really believe in God, and I believe that prayer can change a lot of things, especially when you're genuine with your intention when you're praying.
Yeah. how do you cooperate? How do you coordinate your faith into your businesses? How does that work for you?
I do a lot of praying. I have a lot of faith. And then I've learned to speak positive things over what I want to happen, to be intentional, to speak
Yeah,
things into existence. I think that's very important when you are
yeah,
operating out of faith.
very good, very good. I'm a faith walker too, Miss Anita. I truly know that with Christ all things are possible because without Him I don't even know where I would be. So
Yes.
I'm very grateful for the Lord and for faith as well. Um, Tell me a little bit about the gift shop and the bakery. And listen, I'm a foodie. Okay, so when I heard that you had the gift shop, I was like, oh, that's nice. But then I saw bakery. Please tell me, what are you baking? What do you have?
So now, so I taught myself along with, I don't know if you have ever heard of, you ever seen the show Cake Boss? Um,
Yes,
so what
yes.
I would do was I would go and I would order like all of his cake pans. I would order all the stuff that he had. I would watch his show. I would
Okay.
learn to bake like they bake in the bakeries. And so I can bake cakes, pies. I can do the custom treats and decorate them.
Wow.
Um, I
Okay.
can do wedding cakes. So I'm like really good with a lot of that stuff. When it comes to gifts, I can make any custom gift. I'm really crafty. I'm one of those people where it's like my hands are one of my gifts. And people are
Yeah.
like, I've never be able to do so much, but yes, I'm
Hmm.
really good.
Okay. So what is maybe one of your top desserts? And I've got in our comment box, I've got your email for people to be able to reach out to you. And we'll talk in a few minutes about how they can reach out to you on your social media platforms as well. But if someone were to order something from your bakery, what would be like one of the key or custom top seller type items that you would recommend?
I would definitely recommend my cakes and my cake pops. Over the years, those have been two of my most best sellers. A lot of people tell me that my cakes taste like they've been made by some of the best bakers out there. I'm really good. I try to make everything with love and care and just really, putting my all into it because I'm really passionate about the things that I do.
And so, what flavors do you offer? Are we talking about birthday cakes? Are we talking about wedding cakes?
I do
What type of
birthday,
cakes?
wedding, anniversary. I can make just about any cake you can think of.
Okay, cream cheese pound cake.
Yes.
Okay.
You said what my order?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'll be in Dallas again soon. Okay, okay. And so, you have the gift shop as well. Kind of tell us about that. Do we have custom made gifts, or kind of tell me a little bit about how that works?
So I make greeting cards. I make gift
Mhm.
baskets.
Yeah,
Um, so I love to design, and that's like one of my passions, designing, whether it's homes or gifts. And so that's one of my main things I do is the gift baskets and greeting cards for every occasion possible. And
yeah,
so that's what made me want to do a gift shop because I noticed that when I would gift like my family and my friends, they'd be like, "You should sell this stuff." And so now I'm
yeah.
working to get my gift baskets into CVS currently. So I'm waiting on a call back from them. So I'm
Okay,
excited. Yes, it's
that's
like it's
good. Okay.
so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So I'll be praying for you about that because that is definitely a big deal. What are your future plans for your businesses? Do you have any expansions coming up? I know you just said that about CVS, and that is very big. What else do you have on the horizon?
So I definitely want to get my own event center where I can have people book my event center, and they can have their events there. Then I can decorate for them also, and it's kind of everything in one place. I can cater as well. So I definitely
Yeah.
want to with my event planning for sure. I also want to have my own gift shop, an actual location where people come to, and it's a variety of things they can pick and choose from. I'm also good as far as floral, so I also do wedding bouquets and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to expand a lot of things I know how to do, definitely on a bigger scale. and also tap back into my interior design where I'm out designing homes and helping people create amazing spaces as well.
Okay. So yeah, you definitely have a lot of passions, creativity. That is amazing. So I know we kind of talked a little bit earlier. You're interested in possibly getting into writing. We talked about that a little earlier. What genre would you be interested in writing?
So I definitely want to do an autobiography about my life leading up to now,
Okay.
because I have so many interesting parts of my life that I feel like if people read the stories, it could really touch people. It could really help people. And so that's definitely the first book I'm going to write is autobiography. And so I've been wanting to write this book for quite some time. And so
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes, that is going to be exciting. Just to hear more about, your life and your project and things like that. It'll be really good. So, what do you say to? And I kind of like to always just have my guests kind of give information back to whoever's watching that's maybe thinking, you know what, I could do that. What do I do first? With you have multiple different streams of income, which I think is amazing. But what do you say to that person that hasn't gotten started with anything? They're just procrastinating. They're just thinking about all these things and not putting it into practice. What separated you from that? Like, what do you say to do?
Because I have to say, I can either sit here and keep looking at what I want to do and then saying,
Right?
well, what's happening? Or I can get up and say, if I don't try, how do I know what's going to happen? So when people are procrastinating, they're not sure, they're living in fear. I tell people, get up and go for it. You have
Yeah.
no clue what happens by, you just going to go do something. Like I just one Saturday went to an event and met amazing people that now I go to events and network with, and they're
Yeah.
teaching me stuff because they're already more successful. And so you just never know. Like you really got to put yourself out there. You really got to step out on faith and not operate out of fear.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that holds a lot of people back, Anita. What about you? I think the fear of the unknown.
Yes, I had that at first, but then it was like I had to say, well, if I keep sitting here operating like that, how can I know if I
Yeah.
can be successful? And
Yeah.
so I think a
Yeah.
lot of people they will get stuck there, but it's like you really got to say how bad do you want it? If
Oh,
you think
yeah.
about that, if you think about that multi-million dollar, bank account you want, how are you going to obtain that if you're just sitting there operating out of fear? You got to take that leap of faith because you never know. Sometimes it's that one thing and you're like, bam, it just happened. So you really got to
Yeah.
operate like that.
Yeah. And you think about how many people that are successful now, if they had not took that leap of faith. So yeah, I
Yes.
think I think that is a really big thing. Not letting fear be a factor and hold you back, because if you don't try, you'll never know. You'll always be what if. And that is not something you want to have to look back and say, like, what if, and yeah. So I think you're doing some amazing things. Like I said, we met a while back at the Men's Matter movement, which was an event that my co-author and my friend, Mr. Yu, had, and Keith had that event. And that I can't stop talking about that movement. That meeting was so amazing.
Yeah.
I was just really, I guess, captivated would be what it is to see that many men in one room on one accord. And, men are always like hiding their emotion and their feelings and their thoughts about stuff. But in that room, Anita, the vulnerability that was in there, like, what did you think about that?
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Were you able to hear my question?
I think the sound went out a little bit.
Okay, so I was asking you, when we were at that Men's Matter movement, the vulnerability of the men in that room, that many men in that atmosphere being so open and vulnerable. What were your thoughts about that meeting?
Okay. I can hear myself, but I can't hear you, Stephanie.
Oh, you can't hear me? Let me see.
Yep, it's still no sound on my side.
What about now? You may have to go out and come back in.
Yep, I can hear myself, but no sound on your end.
Okay, so she will be back in just a moment. Just having some issues with sound. What I'm talking about is we originally met, Anita and I, at a Men's Matter movement, and it was an amazing event. Um, are you able to hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
All right. And so I was telling everyone about how we met at the Men's Matter movement, how amazing it was seeing all of those men in one room being open and being vulnerable, and talking about what they thought, what they felt. What were your thoughts on that event on that day?
I think that was something that I feel like a lot of times men, they feel like they should be so strong. They don't want
Yeah,
to be vulnerable. They don't want to show their emotions. They don't want to talk about their emotions. Not
yeah,
understanding that there are women out there like us who actually want to hear that, to be able to understand them on an emotional level, to allow them to be vulnerable. And I
yeah,
think when I spoke at the event, I was trying to, express that hey, we support you guys. We want you guys to be vulnerable and talk to us. And so it was
yeah,
just amazing to see how many men, it seemed like they just waited for that moment. For them, that was their comfort zone where they were like, okay, you know
yeah,
what? Be vulnerable. And I love that, because I was like, our men don't get a chance to do this because they're always trying to be strong, be the provider, be the protector. And so
yeah.
it was just amazing to see all those men in the room like that.
Yeah, I thought it was really beautiful. Every 2 weeks, I do a open discussion forum on my platform, Anita. And part of what inspired me to not only do women issues was that event. I used to do a lot of events just geared towards women, but in that moment at that event, Anita, I was like, wow, I've got to make sure that my platform is balanced and that we talk to the men too, because they're in the room too, and that seeing that at that event just did something to my heart, right? And so I've been trying to consciously do some different platforms for men, which leads me to coming up soon on my platform. I'm going to be having an open forum discussion. The month of May is actually Mental Health Month. Did you know that? I just
Yeah.
found out.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the month of May is Mental Health Month, but we're going to have the discussion June the 2nd because in honor of Father's Day, right? Father's
Hmm.
Day in June as well. But on Sunday, June the 2nd at 7 o'clock, we're having a mental health for men
Okay.
open discussion on fatherless fathers.
Oh, now that is
Ye-
ooh, that's a topic right there. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't talk about that, but that's something that's definitely, it needs to be talked about.
especially in our community, right?
That's very much so.
Yeah, so I'm putting it out there. Fatherless fathers, mental health for men. Sunday, June the 2nd at 7 o'clock p.m. That discussion is going to be led by clinical therapist and social worker. Dr. Marcus Wade will be on that conversation. I always like to have a male host for those conversations. And so the guest host is going to be Dr. Marcus Wade. He is
Mhm.
going to join the platform and lead that conversation. And listen, Anita, be in prayer with me, partner with me in prayer. I really do hope that it is, if not equal, comparable to what we saw at that event, that Men
Yeah.
Matter too. And so I'm excited about that. That's what I've got coming up. What else do you have coming up as far as business? I know you have some different things coming up with your podcast. Tell us a little bit more about where we can find you, what you've got going on. I just want you to definitely, put out there any information you can so we can know what's going on with you and your brand.
So within the coming months, I am going to be rebranding my podcast. I'm going to have more guests. I'm going to be expanding my businesses. I'm going to be attending a lot more events to promote myself. You guys can find me at Wealthy Anita on Instagram, also TikTok, Anita's Custom Gifts and More. You can also place orders with me on TikTok. On Facebook, you can find me at Aneta Sproles. And then I'm going to be an author soon, so I'm excited about that. It's just a lot of great things that are happening, and I just look forward to really expanding my businesses and becoming a multimillionaire and really just showing people that you can do it no matter what your situation is, no matter where you're starting from. You have the potential to be great.
That's true. That's true. So I've got your email up on the screen, and that is businessbookingsa@gmail.com. That is another way of getting in touch with Miss Anita. We've got Portia, Miss Gilmore. I love her. She's so sweet.
Yes.
And she is sending hearts and sending love. I appreciate her so much. So we've got several people that are tuning in watching. If any of you want to have any comments or questions, feel free. We will definitely run those across the screen. And if there's anything that you're interested in, desserts, interior design, to know more about her upcoming book, we'll be plugging y'all in real soon with that. I'm excited about that as well. But we have Miss Anita in the house. So if you have seen Anita at these social events and been wanting to get in contact with her or know more about her platforms, definitely reach out to us. We're going to be here for probably about another 20, 30 minutes. So we've got time for you. Go ahead and send those questions in and we can take a look at them and give you some answers. Tell us a little bit about child entrepreneurs. I know that, I've been at several events and I've seen lots of kids now that are becoming entrepreneurs. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that's amazing because, for so long, children just kind of grow up and then, a lot of parents are just not guiding and they're just allowing children to kind of be susceptible to whatever's going on around them. I think it's
Right.
great that you children entrepreneurship, you give them
Hmm.
something to do, them a goal to have in life because like everybody's not going to be like the doctor and the nurse or all this other stuff. Some
Yeah.
kids have big have talents. Some kids can
Yeah.
turn that into an amazing business. So I think it's great the more children that we do see that are becoming entrepreneurs and going in the right direction. I think that's truly amazing for them.
I do too. I love it. I went to this event. It was the end of last year, and I met this little young chef. Um, and his whole brand was about cookies. He was making cookies. And it was really funny because a lot of different people were speaking, Anita, and they were talking about making money and getting their credit. They had someone there that was a credit repair person, and they were talking about getting their credit and getting credit cards. And the young man kind of leaned over to his mom and was like, I need to get a credit card. And everybody busted out laughing. But it was so funny because he was serious about his business. But I thought that was amazing. We're seeing a lot more children entrepreneurs now. I know the Doc Bookshop, which is a bookshop I'm affiliated with, this past weekend, they had a new young author that was a child there doing his book launch. And I'm just like, look at all these, and they're brown. Look at all these young brown entrepreneurs. And I'm like, this is beautiful. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of get some feedback from you. I think it's amazing. My son wants to get into something right now. He's obsessed with gaming. And so we're going to try to figure something out that we can get him into as well. But entrepreneurship at an early age, I think is really good because it prepares them for the future. Yeah.
Yes, it really does.
Yeah.
And I think it
So,
teaches responsibility, it teaches them discipline. And
yeah.
that's essential when they go on to become adults that they have those.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, I kind of like the idea of like I don't know what you would call it, I've been kind of throwing this idea, I guess you would call it like a mini like a mini business camp for kids. I've been kind of thinking about doing something like that. They call them maker spaces when it's involved in like science, right? But this wouldn't really be like science, but it'd be an opportunity for, I say mini because like mini as in children, entrepreneurship, but I'm kind of throwing that idea around. What do you think about that? You think it would be something that would, you know, be a good thing for looking into?
I think it would, because a lot of times you have so many kids, they got ideas, and then depending on the environment they're in, depending on who their support system is, they really are just like, okay, I'm just in my head thinking these things. But if they have a to come to bring that out of them and see, okay, this could possibly happen, I think that is great. So I think something like that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think I might you know, put something together, probably in the Dallas area, and kind of see, you know, see what opportunities we can put out there. And, you know, I kind of have, we kind of run in the same social circle with a lot of the people that we associate with. But I think if we put together like a joint effort, we could all do something to even mentor or partner with those kids, you know, and kind of make something, you know, happen bigger for them. So just kind of throwing it out there. I'm just kind of brainstorming, but I just kind of wanted to see what you thought about that, since we were talking about the kids.
I think that, and you know, in the summertime when kids are not in school, I think that would be perfect to do that, to keep kids' mind focused on some positive, good stuff so they don't get sidetracked with other things. So I think that would be really amazing.
And summer is one of those times where they need to be busy, right?
Yes, they definitely need to be busy in the summertime.
When I was growing up, Anita, we got locked outside. So we would all go to my grandparents' house, and my aunt, she was amazing with us. You know, she made us fried pies and cooked lunch for us and everything. But guess what? During the day, we were locked outside. We had to play. We had to play all day and keep ourselves busy and active. But guess what? We didn't get into anything. We weren't on the internet. You know, we weren't doing things like we have going on now. So listen, I'm going to show a promotional ad here, Miss Anita. When we come back, we're going to get ready to do our closing thoughts. So I'll let you kind of think about your closing thoughts, but we're going to take this moment here to do a promotional ad. We'll be right back in just a moment. Stay tuned. We are talking to Miss Anita tonight. We have showcased her different platforms and her amazing opportunities she has coming up. She's going to tell her story. So listen, hold on for just a moment. After this promotional video, we'll come back with closing thoughts, okay?
Oh, everybody praise him. Everybody's praising. With a loud voice. With a loud voice. Change the atmosphere. Change the atmosphere. Ooh, with his life. Yeah, that's pretty, yeah. Y'all got me on the second verse. Lift him, come on. Say, lift him up. Lift him up. What? Yeah, like an angel. Like an angel. Change the atmosphere. Change the atmosphere. It feels like heaven is the room. Yeah, I like this. Heaven is the remix. It feels like heaven is the room. Heaven is the room. Let's do the second verse again. Lift him. Lift him up, yeah. Lift him up. Yeah.
Join us on a transformative journey of self-discovery, redemption, and faith in Stephanie M. Seaton's The Woman at the Well. This compelling composition underscores the enduring presence of the Lord's boundless love and grace, offering forgiveness and transformation. Don't miss your opportunity to discover a path to wholeness, forgiveness, and eternal love. Get your copy on Amazon.com today.
All right. And we are back with Miss Anita. This has been an amazing opportunity to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on to the show tonight. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Miss Anita. You've got so much going on, and I definitely wanted to show you some love and support for what you've got going on as well. As we come to an end, please, anything that you can think of, closing thoughts, anything else you've got coming up that you want to mention before we end? I just want to give you the floor and give you that opportunity.
Well, I want to say thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me on. It was a
Yes.
pleasure. When we
Yes.
first, I was like, I am excited for this interview. So having me on this show, this was truly amazing to get a chance to just have an open conversation and be able to
Thank
talk to you, know more about you, and you learn more about me. So
you.
I hope we
Ma'am.
can do a lot more things together in the future. I'm truly excited. But my closing thoughts would just be, if you have a dream, it can happen. Do not operate out of fear. Take that leap of faith. It
Yeah.
just be that one leap of faith that may turn you into a very successful business person. And so
Wow.
that's everybody. Dream big and it can happen.
I love that. I love that. Very encouraging. Listen, Miss Anita, you stay right there. We're going to get ready to check out for the night. We will be back again on Tuesday of next week. We do have our interviews on Tuesdays and Thursdays now. That's our new rotation schedule, Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. And we will have some amazing guests on next week. All my guests are amazing, though. So, right. But we will have some more amazing guests on next week, telling their stories about their life, their businesses, their faith, and their families, because that's the theme of the show. And we want you to know all these amazing people and all the things that they're doing. We want you to support their businesses and reach out to them and encourage them. So thank you again tonight for tuning in to another edition of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. It has been amazing. And keep in mind, on June the 2nd, we are going to be having the mental health for men open discussion for men, June the 2nd at 7 o'clock. Okay, fatherless fathers, I want you to spread the word, like, tag, and share this interview so that we can definitely make an impact and let men know that they have a safe space as well. Thank you.
You're
Good night.
welcome.
If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.